Welcome back to NC Bassing. Today I'm finally back on Lake Norman. I've been missing this lake a little bit. This is my favorite time of year to fish it. I mean, you got topwater. A lot of these, I like fishing the spawn, but a lot of these fish are already done spawning. But there's still gonna be a bunch of fish pull up. I mean, this next full moon, we keep having these cold fronts come in. I don't know if any of the fries really, on the south end I'm sure they have, but I don't think any of the fries even survive. Having these cold fronts come through all the time. But post spawn and endless spawn is like the best time to throw topwater. I love post spawn for topwater, and that's one of my favorite times to fish. We have a shad spawn. It'd be awesome if we had shad spawn, but it's over real early. It's a cold morning though, it's like 43 degrees, so it's probably not gonna be a shad spawn. Those warm mornings are great for topwaters and great for shad spawn. I'm excited to be back on Norman. It's been a few weeks. I've been going to James. It's been like at least like 4 weeks since I've been here. I'm gonna try to throw some big baits. The big 130 whopper plopper and the Moonshiner wake bait's a big bait. Trying to get some big bites. Maybe move up in this monthly. I mean, you're gonna take 104 inches is winning the monthly. I mean, that's gonna be about impossible for me to catch. I mean, 103 second, I think 101 third. So I'm gonna have to catch giants, but I'm just out here fun fishing. It's been a while since I've just been able to come out here and fun fish. Hopefully they're biting. Let's have a fun day. See how it goes. Got one. Moonshiner. Oh no! God, it's like a 2.5 pound, or probably like a 2 1/4 largemouth. Man, on the Moonshiner. It gives me confidence to throw. There we go. Stay down this time. Of course, the small one I can actually keep hooked. It's a spot for sure. It's not even a bad fish though. The one I lost was bigger. On the Moonshiner, barely hooked him though. Just under the surface, just crawling it. I'm definitely not a wake bait expert or nothing, guys, but it's great. This is like a local. This bait's super expensive, but Tater Hog Custom Lures. Really quality baits, a local mainstay on this lake. Shad spawn, everybody knows you throw a Moonshiner. It's a big bait for me, but it catches them. That fish is post spawn, solid fish. Probably bigger than any fish I caught it. Definitely longer than any fish I caught at James. It's perfect time when the sun's coming up. Fish is a retread. He had a cold tag in him. There he goes. Let's catch some more. God! Dude, that was a giant. How'd he miss the whole bait? Oh my God. That was like a 4-pounder, dude, it looked like. God! Ah! Woo! This is awesome, but I'm missing fish. That was another 2-pounder, just hit it at the kayak. That's the thing about the wake bait too, they'll track it a little bit. Topwater, real topwater, they'll hit on the first 2 or 3 casts. Golly, got him that time. I mean, they're just slapping it. This thing is getting bites. I even threw the whopper plopper for a minute. Look how fat that fish is. God, they're just slapping it. Sometimes I get lucky and hook them. Moonshiner is killing. It's so awesome to watch them come to hit it. It's still like a little cold, I guess, for the whopper plopper to really, the big one at least, for them to really kill it. And I should see what my best 5 weigh, because I could have done had 13 pounds probably. It's what slapped at my bait. Look how fat that fish is. He ain't long at all, but he's full of shad. This is fun right here, guys. There we go, tiny one on it. I think that's why I'm missing a lot, guys, because they're this size. I have missed like 5 bites, and probably more than that, like 7 bites in a row. I mean, they're swirling on it, not even making contact. There's probably a lot of small guys. Probably be killing them on a fluke, but they'll be that size. I'm trying to catch bigger fish. I'm not really worried about the little guys today. If I can catch them watch them come up and smash this wake bait, then I don't care what size they are. There's one. Oh, he was small anyway. Oh, I lost him. God, oh my God, dude, that was a freaking giant. Oh my God, I knew I was gonna get a bite right here too. God, just T-boned it. There we go. There's no way that fish made that big of a jump. There's no way that was that fish. Maybe that's what I was missing on Moonshiner. I mean, I thought that was a 4-pound fish. Did you see that jump? Tiny little spot just on the bed, probably. Just mad at it. I thought I missed him. I didn't even feel a fish for a second. I'll take it. I went to the popper, ain't got a bite on the Moonshiner in a while, or the whopper plopper. So I put on the popper, my favorite popper, cover pop. Bluegill color. This thing has caught me a lot of good fish. Got it. That should be a largemouth, and it's not. You have to catch a largemouth. Look at the size of the one with him. Look at that, guys. Oh my God, that's at least a 2.5 pounder. At least. That fish bit it like it was on a bed too. These spots love to, oh, that could be bad. These spots love to spawn on islands. It's the red clay usually catches the small one. I've always caught fish this time of year around red clay, and I've always thought, I mean, they just like that hard bottom red clay, but it's really the shell beds in the clay. They love to spawn on that. The herring love to spawn on clay. Even the threadfin shad also. It's a great place to catch fish, especially where there's shell beds. I mean, there's a lot of shell beds on the clay. It's a decent little fish. I mean, that's not even a decent little fish. There's a little fish, I should say. And I freaking missed him. Set the hook too hard. It's a wacky rig. They bited. Well, I see him. Dang, he's not bad. Eat it, eat it, eat it. He's probably on the bed. Oh, he's got it. Got him. Yes, nice one. Same one that bit my popper, I bet. Somehow just missed him. Gotta meet the Wacky rig. He's a starving fish too. There we go. He had it for a couple of seconds, so I wasn't sure he had it. That fish is beat up. He's definitely been on a bed. There, gotta make sure I don't hurt that fish. On the Wacky rig baton. Go ahead and order you guys some. It's the best Wacky rig bait you can buy. Use discount code NCBass and get you 15% off. Link is in the description. It's a chunk. There's a long fish. He's probably just real skinny. Probably don't weigh much, but he's long. 222. Solid largemouth. I come back here to catch largemouth. That's what I was looking for. Just want one about double that size. Of course, I didn't have the camera going. On the Vigilante, guys, I've been working on this. He looked even smaller in the water, but when he turned sideways, I thought he might be. That's a good spot. On the Vigilante, there's another rot baits. Ton of appendages. You can Texas rig this thing. I like it on a swim jig too, or a chatterbait. And you can, I mean, you can make it finesse more. I'm on a stump. I'm throwing with a Texas rig right now. The kind of imitates a bluegill on these beds. It's a long fish. I knew he was good size. I didn't think he was that big though. Took me a while to get him to bite. He would bite. Somehow he would bite just the pinchers every time and pull it off the bed. And he would only bite it when I would smack him in the face with it. It's the only time he'd even think about biting it. Tiny guy. And he smashed it like they usually do. Got rid of him. Right when I went to reel it in, he smashed it for some reason. There we go. God, that might be a good one. Or not. How are they so strong? On the pole where he should be. Post spawn fish. He would have a decent 5-fish limit now, but been few and far between. Pretty much gave up on the Moonshiner because I was trying to throw it around the docks and I've banged it off a couple of docks. That bait costs too much to be hitting. I don't know how you guys throw glides. Like, I know that's a great place to throw glides or around docks, but I don't know how you guys throw them without being scared to break them. Golly. He about pulled the rod out of my hands and he's just a little spot. They're so aggressive. It's because I hooked him crazy, but he really did pull the rod down, about pulled it out of my hands. They bite it and they're 20 feet to the side by the time you get the hook into them. I'm telling you, when one of these big largemouth eat it, it's going to be a slurp. Little red-eyed spot. It's still fun. Well, guys, about midday update anyways. Tips on what I'm doing today. The popper, I like to throw it down around the walkway. The first couple of posts, throw it up under the walkway. Pop it. That's the main way I catch them on, or overhanging trees. That's the main way I use this popper. Throw it right up under the walkway, especially on those poles. Especially when they start guarding fry, the poles will have fry on them all the time. And then overhanging trees, I mean, even trees that are overhanging like that. I mean, just bugs and stuff fall down from there, and a shady area. I like a popper on a sunny day. Like today would probably be a good day to throw a buzzbait or a spook. When it's cloudy, these fish are roaming around there. But when it's sunny, they get in the shade. Throw this thing in the shade, you'll catch them. And on the Moonshiner, which I'm a novice at throwing it, I haven't caught many fish on big baits. This, I just want to parallel, same thing with whopper plopper. I want to parallel a rocky bank. Just real shallow. These fish just can't resist it when the bait's pinned up against the bank. When the bait is pinned up against the bank and the surface, it's just too easy of a meal, especially a big meal like this. The big fish can't resist it. I catch most of my big fish on top waters. The popper just aggravates them. It's an easy meal too. It just pops and sits there. They can't resist it. Kind of. That one's more of a bluegill imitator. This is more of like a big shad imitator, or especially when they're spawning. They kind of think it's like a bunch of shad swimming. You see shad when they're spawning, and not even when they're spawning, but when they're on the surface, they're just zigzagging on top of the water. Too easy of a meal. That's what I do with these two baits. This time of year is a great time to throw them too. And really, it gets warmer. It's going to be even better the next few weeks. Get out there and throw topwaters, guys, and catch them. It's fun. Well, on the baton, I could have caught fish on the Wacky rig all day probably, but I thought they'd be small. It's just not as fun too. A day like today, he was in the shade where he should be, but around the dock. A day like today, I want to throw topwaters. It's a solid fish. Largemouth back here where he should be. As that baton catches them. I don't really like this weedless hook, but it's keeping me a little bit. I can at least like pull it over dock pilings and not get hung up. Man, I just threw the Moonshiner all the way down this retaining wall, thinking I was gonna get bit, and then I just throw it on a dock pole. A Wacky rig catches them. I like the way I hooked that fish that time though. All these fish look post-spawn, and all these beds are empty. I mean, I've seen a couple fish on beds. I got that one spot on the bed, but I don't think I've seen a single largemouth on a bed yet. Well, guys, that was the day. Started off great, and it got real slow in the mid-morning. Really, after 12 o'clock, it got really dead. I mean, it's kind of hard to sight fish, and I think most fish were pulled off the beds. I mean, water temperature was 64, 65, but I heard it was like 68, 70 2 days before that. So water temperature was dropping. I think it hurt the bite. It was a cold morning. I mean, I stayed almost all day. I stayed till like 4:30 and left before to beat the traffic. It was still fun catching them on topwaters. I mean, that's the main thing I love about bass fishing. I love catching them on topwaters. I'll take one fish on topwaters instead of 10 on a Ned rig all day. Next video, I'm gonna go to Mountain Island, try down there, try up at the dam where I've never fished, try some new water down there. Hopefully they're still biting topwater next week. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on NC Bassin'.